Hello, my name is J.R. Thomas at the George Ranch Historical Park, and today we're going to talk about the flags of Texas. The Spanish government sighted the Texas shoreline way far back in 1519, but it wasn't for approximately another 200 years. The first mission was established in 1716, and it was first called Nuestro Padre San Francisco de los Tejas. Then, just 5 years later, they renamed the Spanish mission. They called it Mission San Francisco de los Nueces. In 1731, they moved the Spanish mission to San Antonio, renamed it Mission San Francisco de las Espada. And as a matter of fact, if you go to San Antonio, you can go visit the oldest Spanish mission in Texas. Once again, it's called Mission San Francisco de la Espada. Cool. But other missions that you can go visit, of course, is the Alamo, and there's even La Bahia and Goliad. But the really interesting thing about under Spanish law, that women could own property. And then upon getting married, the women got half of the property and wealth of the man she married. Imagine that. Unfortunately, the Spanish rule of Texas only lasted until 1821, when Mexico gained its independence from Spain, and then Mexico officially owns Texas. Robert de La Salle established a colony north of Matagorda Bay in 1685, and it's a sad tragedy, absolute terrible tragedy, because 1 year later, he lost his last ship because he has no way to get support from the Caribbean islands. Then, 1 year later, 1687, he is on his way to try to get support from a French colony over there off of the Mississippi River. But there was a mutiny, and he was killed. Then, by 1688, the remaining colonists that were left there by La Salle were killed by Native American Caranquas. And then, Spain had been looking for this French colony, and 1 year after that, in 1689, they finally found the remains of the colony. They burned it to the ground, buried the cannons, and left. And that is the very brief 3-year story of French colonization in Texas. Now, Jean Lafitte established a blacksmith shop in 1809. We do know that for a fact, in New Orleans. But from 1810 to 1814, he set up a pirate base in Batavia Bay, south of New Orleans. He held a privateer's commission. Now, what is a privateer? Basically, you're given a license by another country, and you are given a job to raid and take stuff from other cargo ships and from other countries. So he had a commission from Cartagena, which is now in South America, and his job was to raid any Spanish ships he could find. It was a good deal. Eventually, he was offered a commission by England. He was offered a commission and $30,000 in cash. That's a lot of money. Even that was way back a long time ago. But thing was, he really didn't want to support England. He wanted to support the United States. Well, come around the War of 1812, there's the Battle of New Orleans. Really, really interesting history on that. Now, Jean Lafitte supplied arms and people to fight at the Battle of New Orleans. And Andrew Jackson himself bragged about what a great fighter Jean Lafitte was. Well, after that, after the Battle of New Orleans, he came to Texas and he established a colony called Campeche in 1817, what is now Galveston. Well, he was even elected the official governor of Galveston by James Long. Now, in 1817, he established Galveston Island. Now, back then he called it Campeche, but eventually, 2 years later, James Long basically appointed Jean Lafitte to be the governor of Galveston. So Jean Lafitte ran this pirate base, a pirate town in Galveston. Can you imagine that? Just a few hours away, we have a pirate base that we can go visit. So he did that, and all this time, Jean Lafitte was raiding American ships. Wait, just a few years beforehand, he had sided with the Americans and fought against the English. So now Jean Lafitte is raiding American ships, but he raided one too many. Then in 1819, 1820, the Americans sent ships to Galveston, told them, you have to get out. So Jean Lafitte loaded up his favorite ship, the Pride, and burned Galveston to the ground and left and disappeared. Some people say he went to the Caribbean islands. Some people say he went to South America. There's a rumor he retired in New Orleans. Nobody knows. And there you go. In 1836, Texas gained its independence. Now, Texas had to create a constitution, which it patterned very much after the United States Constitution. And then they created their own flag. Now, the first Republic of Texas flag had a blue background with a gold star. Really cool. But the thing was that Mexico never recognized the fact that Texas had gained its independence. So from 1836 to 1845, Texas was its own republic. But it had a lot of problems. Mexico was trying to come and take Texas back. And also, Texas was running out of money. So, eventually in 1845, Texas joined the United States, where it fell under the United States flag. Ta-da! Texas was a part of the United States from 1845 until 1861, when at the beginning of the American Civil War, Texas joined the Confederacy. Problem was that, the United States never officially recognized that Texas had separated away from the United States. So Texas fell under the Confederacy under a different flag, like this one right here. And it's not the stars and bars like everybody thinks. It's a completely different one. But Texas remained under the Confederacy from 1861 all the way to 1865 at the end of the American Civil War. But from 1865 to 1870, Texas was under martial law. Really wasn't even its own country, its own state. But then in 1870, it rejoined the United States, once again falling back under the flag of the United States. Now, the Texas Navy was established in November of 1835. Texas had got money to purchase 4 ships. They were issued letters of marque. Okay, their job, these 4 ships, their job was to patrol the coastline, okay, looking out for pirates, but then also to raid Mexican ships. So the first Texas Navy were basically privateers, okay, which was sanctioned piracy, okay. But the first Texas Navy only lasted until 1837 when they had lost their last ship. Now, the thing that's really, really interesting about the Texas Navy is, well, the Texas government bought the Navy guns. They bought these. Look at this. Ooh. Now this, guys, is called the Patterson revolver, made by Mr. Samuel Colt himself. This is the first revolver that was ever really made. But the Texas Navy, they didn't like these things. Don't know why. So they gave these revolvers to the Texas Rangers. Now before then, okay, all they were doing is shooting one-shot pistols and rifles. Now this thing has 5 shots. And because of this, the Texas Rangers became really legendary in their fights against all the Indians out there because they have 5 shots. Now, interesting fact.